Okay, we're going to go ahead and call this Solid Waste Authority meeting to order at 3 p.m. on April 11th. If the clerk could please call the roll.
Directors Ashby, Carr, here. Frost, here. Kennedy, Natoli,
Here.
Peters, here. And Gira.
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. If we could all join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. If the clerk could please read the announcement, please.
This meeting of the Solid Waste Authority is cablecast live on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast, Consolidated Communications, and AT&T UVerse cable systems. The meeting is closed captioned and webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. Today's meeting will replay Saturday, April 13th at 4 p.m. and Sunday, April 14th, 2019 at 4 p.m. on Channel 14. Members of the audience wishing to address the board should fill out a speaker identification form located at the back of the chambers and bring it to the clerk. Please speak into the microphone when addressing the board and state your name for the record. If you have any electronic devices, please silence them at this time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. First item on the agenda is our General Manager's report.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, board members, for coming, audience members. Just have a short report this month. We do have, just a refresher, we do have a organics RFP out. The County of Sacramento, the City of Sacramento, and the City of Folsom all combine their tonnages to go out for an RFP to deal with the green waste and eventually green waste and food waste. The results from that, we actually had, I think, 21 firms that were interested. There were over 100 questions asked during the normal RFP process. We expect to get some answers to the RFP results in, it says in April, but I believe that's actually been delayed until May, early May. But it is a nice partnership between the three entities trying to maximize their tonnage dollars and reduce the cost for organics processing. The second item that I had for you today was your board previously had approved, I believe,
hold on one moment. Here we have a question from Board Member Natoli.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Doug, just back to the organics. In the questions and back and forth, because I may have mentioned this at the last meeting of the authority, but I know I've gotten a number of folks that are, fishing around, certainly in District 5 and the unincorporated area of the county as it relates to locations and siting, and I think doing their due diligence. But what sort of information was given relative to land use and inquiries and suggestions? And I'm just curious because it hasn't been a great number, but I've had probably a handful of folks, reflective obviously of folks that are doing business in this community. Those are considering partnering with others in looking at facility, siting, and location. So what sort of direction in your responding to questions has been given to folks?
Let me defer to Tim Israel.
Okay, Tim.
Thank you. There it goes. So the RFP was not very specific on where the location was supposed to be. So we did say that there were county facility locations at SATs and NARS that were available for development of a facility. Okay. We excluded the Kiefer facility from it, but beyond that, we're welcoming proposals from any facility wherever it might be located.
Okay, so it's left to the responders to, I guess, do some due diligence. Obviously, i.e., that's probably why I've been contacted, which I'm appreciative of folks at least let me know, that they're out there fishing. But, some of, particular locations in agricultural areas, may not even be permissible, and or they certainly would require use permits at a minimum, probably to the Board of Supervisors. And again, maybe other members of this board have gotten inquiries closer in suburban areas or industrial areas. But I just wanted to get some clarifications. You're going to, looks like in May, be back to this body with at least some fuller report on what responses we receive. I guess just one qualifier, though, that's very important is obviously, delivery on a particular site is going to be obviously respectful of land use, and that may be of neighboring viewpoints from, other property owners and or,
Yeah,
other
we
users.
recognize that
Okay.
the way the proposals we're hoping are structured is there's a near-term component,
Right.
which would very likely be out-of-county facilities that
Right.
we would transfer to,
Right.
with the possibility of developing a facility here in the county. Now, the issue, of course, with that is it takes years and years to do that. And so all the environmental review and outreach to the neighbors would occur as part of that process.
I just one other comment I would just share, because at least one of the parties has spoken with me, they were actually looking at, I think, certainly the near term as you described it, but also the long term of how they might site a facility and what it would take and what sort of zoning and I have some general knowledge about that, but obviously directed them to the planning department for further information. But I just wanted to have some clarity around that, because again, I know at least 3 different parties have spoken to me. So, okay, thanks.
And just to clarify for the board, the SATS is our South Area Transfer Station. It's got a full permit, but it's not being operated currently. NARS is our North Area Transfer Station near Watt and Interstate 80. It currently is a transfer station, and we added those in because we have basic infrastructure there to be able to handle transferring material out.
Great. Thank you, Supervisor Natoli. Mr. Sloan, you still have other items on your report?
Right. So your board previously approved $100,000 for a cleanup of different areas, and if we can get the next slide.
You don't have the clicker.
I don't have a clicker. There we go. We entered into an agreement with the Conservation Corps. This was a week's worth of activity. We just want to give you an idea of the area that they went through on the map. They collected 120 pounds. It's a program that will float around to different areas based on need, and it's a pretty flexible program, but we wanted to give you just a snippet of, in my mind, the success that program's had when they went through and collected material.
Great.
Okay?
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Sloan.
And that's my report.
Appreciate your report. We'll go ahead and move on to the next item, which is our consent calendar. Is there a motion on the consent calendar?
I move the consent calendar.
It's been moved by Board Member Cars. Is there a second? Second. It's been seconded by Board Member Frost. Any discussion? Anyone signed up to speak? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, our consent calendar is approved. We're going to go ahead and if the clerk could read the next item.
Your next item is the introduction of Ordinance 28, incorporating waste diversion program development.
Good afternoon, board members. I was here last month to do the preamble on some of the changes that we are addressing today. And I can see that we don't have our PowerPoint lined up.
There it is.
There it is.
There we go. In a nutshell, we have 2 areas that we're focusing on. One is realigning the code with new regulatory requirements, namely AB 901. So I will go into a little bit more detail about that, but that's the base. That's one of the big changes for this year's. And the other part is that when the ordinance on commercial requirements was first passed, it was really created to address diversion, to address recycling. It was not really meant to address basic services like basic trash service or basic, or even dealing with bulky items. So these are the 2 major areas that we're correcting today. So we're introducing the language, both the strike through and the clean version that you've received. And as you see from the staff report, there's some actions that are being suggested. So the Title I requires standardizing regulatory citations and also specifying some definitions of parties. So for example, peppered throughout all 5 titles, there's a reference to the GME or as designee and language like that we just said, let's put those in the definitions and shortened the entire code. And also clarifying the definition of organic materials. That must be me. Title 2, one minor part, bullet number 1, is that the language required sheriff's review of all franchise applications. And as you know, we have 19 franchisees, and there are new applications, but by and large, they are renewal applications. So we try to streamline that process by applying the process only to new franchise applications. Second bullet is to eliminate the reporting requirements, because right now, and this is more thorough in Title III, we have reporting requirements for recycling facilities, composting facilities, all kinds of facilities, and with 901, that responsibility is shifting to the state, so we're kind of backing off the requirements that are currently in Title II. And bullet number 3 is that there's an annual diversion plan that needs to be submitted by the franchisees, and we are adding a requirement to have a little bit more detail on where they're collecting the material and where they're delivering the material. And finally, to simplify the covered load requirement to make it comprehensive, so the language was a little ambiguous. Title 3 is the major part of 901, and as I mentioned a few minutes ago, it's the recycling facilities as certified putrescible organic material facilities. There's all kinds of requirements that are now being streamlined, and also the first bullet, what that means is that there were survey of origin requirements on every type of facility, and now we're consolidating that into one section. Additionally, we had language in there that identified SWA-regulated facility, and we standardized that to local enforcement agency instead of SWA-regulating agency. And finally, eliminating the food waste recycling facility certification program, because that one has not worked effectively. Title 4 is to align the recycling mandate on businesses with those of CalRecycle. And right now we've got AB 341, and we also have 1826. So for example, we had an exemption for businesses with less than 5 employees, and that's not consistent with state law. And additionally, the food waste mandate, recycling mandate applies to Tier 3 generators. Additionally, with regards to multifamily properties, there was no language to deal with bulky items, and as you know from our work with the illegal dumping, we need to add language that clarifies how that material is to be managed. Bullet number 4 is to eliminate the authorized recycler program. That's also an impact from AB 901. And the last bullet is that self-haulers, those who take their material to their own to a facility and self-haul, they were required in the code to do that on a monthly basis, and we wanted to eliminate that and just to have the documentation in place but not have a monthly requirement. And finally, in Title V, it's just a case of abbreviating some of the information, as I mentioned in Title I, GME or his designee and language to that effect, as well as updating the regulatory citations. Those are the changes that are being introduced.
Great, thank you. I think we don't have anyone signed up to speak here, but my understanding is what we're going to do is open and close the public hearing, but we're unless there's any board members with questions, but we're going to continue this item for further conversation. Is that correct, Mr. Sloan?
Correct.
Yeah.
So we'd like you to open the public hearing, waive the full reading, approve the introduction of the ordinance, and close the public hearing and continue.
Yeah, Board Member Carr, I think he is.
We open and close the public hearing, waive the full reading of the ordinance, approve introduction, ordinance number 28, and close the public hearing, and continue to the next meeting.
Great, thank you. Is there a second? It's been seconded by Board Member Frost. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Motion passes. We'll move on to the next item. If the clerk could please read the next item.
Your next item is your Environmental Management Department update on meeting waste diversion regulatory requirements.
So, Mr. Chair, the next three items are regular April reports that we try and provide for the board. The first up is EMD, one of our partners with helping to enforce the commercial ordinances, followed by presentations from the city and the county code enforcement agencies.
Great. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chairman Guerra and board members. My name is Marie Wooden. I am the Director for Sacramento County Environmental Management Department. Thank you for this opportunity to meet with you this afternoon. EMD has been working successfully with the SWA since July 2005 in implementing certain aspects of SWA code, which include business recycling inspections, investigating complaints such as illegal haulers, and more recently, with the passage of AB 1886, we've been focusing on organic materials recycling. Today, we are presenting our fiscal year 17-18 annual activity report and a brief update on our fiscal year 18-19 work plan activities. With that, I would like to introduce Supervising Environmental Specialist Chris Hunley, who will present the report.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the introduction, Marie. And this is the clicker. So this first slide, most of this Marie just covered, but briefly, our agreement with the Solid Waste Authority is primarily, we represent the boots on the ground. So we're out there doing the inspections, we're performing the community education and outreach component, and we also respond to complaints regarding SWA code violations in terms of the recycling program element. And just for some context, since we started our collaborative work with SWA, we've completed over nearly 10,000 inspections on behalf of SWA. So in terms of the annual report, which you have in front of you for fiscal year 17-18, EMD's completed just a little over 1,000 inspections. 80% of those were in the business recycling or the commercial recycling component. So that's something like a strip mall, making sure that any paper materials or recyclable goods are being source separated and then picked up through one of the licensed haulers. On the organic side, there were 232 inspections, and those were based on some of the bills that were talked about earlier, but primarily AB 1826, and that's to ensure that organic material is separated from the solid waste stream as well. Regarding complaint responses, we received 12 from various entities, could have come through one of your offices, also through our 311 system. And out of those, 5 of the complaints, EMD was able to work with the operator and get them into compliance with the SWA code. 7 of the remaining 7, most of them were deemed that they did not meet the regulatory thresholds for recycling, or the complaint was unfounded. Our outreach and education component really focused on these new organic recycling material mandates. Now, the AB 1826, as you already know, went into effect April 1st of 2016, so the bulk of our work was really hitting these higher generators, if you will, so large-scale restaurants, large commercial buildings, grocery stores, those types of facilities. The outreach was targeted towards our restaurant association, so the California Restaurant Association, the Pacific Rim Restaurant Association here locally, and then also collaborating with BERC, or the Business Environmental Resource Center, and then through the collaborative work group on the solid waste work group, which is made up of all of the cities and the SWA members. When our inspectors go out to these various facilities, we hand out informational flyers. These are trifold documents that we've designed in-house. We purchase them, and then at the end of our inspection, they're sort of like a very simple, pragmatic checklist reminder for people. So business operators, they're trying to keep the business going. And so any helpful information we can provide them, we look forward to those opportunities. And as you can see, we had around a little over 1,000 or 1,200 of these flyers distributed. For enforcement, we were lucky that we only had to issue 2 notices of violation. And so when you look at the number of inspections that we completed, which was over 1,000, 2 notices of violation is really looked at as a great success in our mind. In both cases, the NOVs went out and the operators did come into compliance. So one of them was a restaurant, a rather small restaurant, and then the other was a shopping center that's owned by a rather large scale local developer. So transitioning from the annual report, I'm just going to give you a real brief update on the work we're doing currently. So part of our work plan, that AB 1826, which I'll talk about briefly on the next slide, it was phased over 3 years. So January 1st of this year is really when everybody is getting pulled into the program. So in the past, it was these large generators, 8 cubic yards of organic material per week, which is 2 large dumpsters full of organic waste. January 1st of this year, if you have 1 dumpster that gets picked up every week, you have to be inspected to see if you generate organic material. So, these are very large numbers that we're looking at. So far on our grouped inspections, we have 438 for the first half of the year. Of those, 29 were organics material inspections. That number's a little bit low, and that's because that new 4 cubic yard of waste material hadn't kicked in yet. So those were sort of the remaining restaurants and big box facilities that we needed to follow up with. Regarding the AB 1826, this tier 3, if you will, which is that smaller scale group, again, that's January 1 of this year. And so, there's a large number of folks that need to be inspected. Stepping back a little tiny bit, the phase 1, which was that April 1st, 2016 date, and that large generator, that's 157 facilities that we inspected. For tier 2, which was January 1 of 2017, that's for facilities generating 4 cubic yards or 1 dumpster of organic material. Those types of facilities are big restaurants and small markets.
We have a question here from Board Member Natoli.
Yes.
Yeah, Chris, as you're going through it, it was actually back about a slide ago, but this is fine here. My question was, when you do your annual or regular restaurant inspections for your placards and so forth, and in-house, obviously, sanitation and food handling and so forth, you talked about that trifold brochure. Is that something that, if you haven't already visited a facility for what you're describing these various phases, is that a part of your checklist that you leave behind so they have that information in hand, or is this always a separate effort, or do you combine that?
So regarding if I heard your question correctly, when we're doing a standard restaurant inspection, they go out 3 times. And so they're delivered to folks if there's something that they need to remind them about mostly.
Okay.
And they don't deliver it each time because we'd have, that'd be thousands and thousands.
Right.
It's periodic.
But when is this a separate validation or inspection though for the organic generation and so forth? And so it's not necessarily coupled with the annual, however regular the restaurant inspections are? That's
a great question. So as it stands of January 1st of this year, we are starting to couple these inspections together. Previously, a lot of these folks weren't generating that much waste, so they were segregated out.
Okay, good. So it would now be rolled in, so the inspector who goes out will be the same inspector who will be looking for the organics validation and whether they're recycling or
That's right. They'll be coupled. And that also applies with our Coupa or our hazardous materials handling facilities.
Okay. And so then there's a fee for that, obviously. Is that all then rolled in? They get that bundled in? This is value added? Or?
That's a good way to look at it. The specifics of it, I'd have to get back to you on.
I just was curious. So we're not, I guess my question being there was we're not sending a separate bill for organics certification or recycling, whatever, fitting under these. Basically, it'll be part of the restaurant inspection. The inspector will do that, and it'll just be part of the task, right?
That's right. So I just got some clarifying information. When they get their bill, there's not a line item that says business recycling inspection. The funding and the revenue for that comes through the SWA. And so when we're performing that work, we're not billing them directly for that activity.
All right. So SWA is buying that service, and so it's covered, a covered action. so to
Right,
speak.
so the permit fee that the business would pay for the inspection includes the, sorry, it would, EMD would invoice the SWA for their time to go do that
Okay.
on an individual basis, but the business owner's not going to see a line item separated out for these different charges. We just get a separate bill from EMD.
And we're paying through our franchise
Yes.
requirement. So
Yes.
that is an umbrella, and it's provided whether you're in an incorporated city or in the unincorporated area of the county, right? So it covers the entirety of the geography of
So
which EMD.
anytime EMD is out doing any kind of an inspection and it's done based on the SWA ordinances or codes,
Okay.
they're going to charge us through that, and we have SWA has an MOU with EMD
Okay.
for the reimbursement of those charges.
So one more question then, but EMD provides inspections, say, in the city of Citrus Heights, Rancho Cordova, Elk Grove, Galt, Ileton, who are not members of SWA. So do you get reimbursed separately from their solid waste and/or their city entities for doing the same service in those areas?
We don't provide the service for those areas,
So they do their own. They're going to do their own
That's right.
validation to their.
individual departments.
Per 1826, they are required, the city is required, or the jurisdictions are required to have those inspections done and that information done. It's up to them whether they do that or not. They certainly could contract with EMD in the same arrangement the SWA has.
Okay. Well, and again, I just might offer that suggestion because otherwise they're getting visited by another inspector. And if we're now incorporating this because of, this transitioning into these, lower level of waste generations, but it's going to cover, a whole lot of restaurants and, whether they're in the cities or in the county and other facilities as well, food prep and so forth, then it would seem to me that it might be a bit of outreach on behalf of EMD, at least to say that, for, the two larger jurisdictions, you're providing this under the SWA umbrella. And, they might be interested because, again, obviously you have to get reimbursed for your time, but it's kind of streamlining. Everybody talks about streamlining and being efficient and obviously working with the same waste haulers that come to, our SWA meetings, whether they're operating in the city, the county, or the other cities. It would seem to me that it might be a good way to partner. And obviously you're doing that already, so your inspectors are going to be trained to do that, and it might be a service that they would be interested in buying into since you're going to be doing the restaurant inspections anyway. And I would just offer that, Chris and Marie, maybe some way to do some outreach with the city managers or obviously if they've contracted that over to the waste haulers in those areas where they franchise it, in those cities, it might be, a good touch point for you to go out and talk with those folks about doing that service because you're already doing it in a large part of the county anyway. So,
Absolutely.
okay, good. Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Stolley.
Nearly finished. So the implementation of this last Tier 3 is, again, it's in effect as we speak. We've done a lot of educational presentations and outreach, specifically with the restaurant associations. We've gone out with CalRecycle and with SWA staff to a local organic material recycling facility. And we're phasing these in, as you touched on earlier, Supervisor Natoli. They're coupled with existing operations and inspections that we're already performing for streamlining purposes. So moving forward, we're going to continue working with SWA staff as we already have and we do successfully. And there's another part, where CalRecycle has, there's this, with every department, a need for more and additional data. So we're working diligently with SWA staff to provide them with new monthly data requirements. And then we'll continue going to the various technical advisory committees and work groups throughout the county's jurisdiction to stay abreast of all new regulations and how we're going to roll those out. If you have any specific questions that I didn't cover or if something comes up to you, contact information is listed here. And with that, that's the end of my presentation.
Great. Well, thank you very much. There's a lot of work to do, still a lot of unknowns, and I don't see any board members here with any questions. So this is a receive and file, And we'll move on to our next item, if there's no questions. Yep. We'll ask the clerk to read the next item.
Your next item is your summary report on the illegal dumping enforcement support program in the city of Sacramento.
Good to see you again, Mr. Council.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, Chairman Gerber, SWA board members. I'm Jerome Council from the City of Sacramento Public Works Division, and I'm here to give you a brief overview of the city's illegal dumping efforts for calendar year 2018. Okay, let's see. So before you have a heat map from our city. Last year we had over 12,000 reports of illegal dumping in the city of Sacramento. As you can see, each dot on the map represents a report of illegal dumping. Illegal dumping touches every district in our city here, but there are areas that are more impacted by illegal dumping than others. And some of the areas are North Sacramento, the El Paso Heights area, the Central City. There is there's illegal dumping in the Central City, mostly by gardeners. I do not believe that is as chronic as it may seem. I think it's a result of duplicate cases. And later this year, the city 311 is switching to a Salesforce platform. That platform will be able to identify duplicate cases. So rather than creating an additional case, it will show that as a parent case and create a child case underneath. So it will be able to streamline our reporting there. Also, some areas heavily impacted are Oak Park, Southeast Sacramento, Lemon Hill, Power Inn area, Meadowview in the south, and Valley High area. Our flow report. All reports of illegal dumping go through 311.
Oh, Mr. Council, hold on one moment. Board Member Carp.
Yes, sir.
So on the previous slide, what's the historical trend here? Is this getting better or worse?
From my time in the city, I think it's pretty consistent. I don't, like I said, I think some of the cases in the Central City specifically are duplicate cases, but the areas that have been impacted by illegal dumping still seem to remain the most impacted areas. We continue our efforts, but I don't see any real shifts in the impacts or the severity of the impacts in the areas that are shown here.
We're staying the same.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Council, this is also the information we get is from people reporting, correct?
Yes.
And so as we've increased our education efforts about 311 and making sure that we're reporting illegal dumping, we're starting to track that. So there's a little question sometimes about the increase amount versus how much whether the actual illegal dumping has increased versus how much the reporting has increased.
The reporting, from year over year, the number of reports is right around the 12,000 range. The reports come in on three different platforms, whether it's by call, by the app, or by email. That trend is holding steady, but I really think we'll get better understanding if there's decreases when we get some of the duplicate reportings out of our system.
Good, thank you.
Okay, so all reports go through 311. They are triaged through there. And when reports of illegal dumping come in, if it's just a reporting of illegal dumping, that reporting is simply put into a service cloud where our GIS specialist will go there, pull that reporting, and put it on a manifest so it can be collected by our illegal dumping crews. If there is actionable information or relevant information in there, that a case is entered into Citizen Serve, where a code enforcement officer will go out and investigate that reporting. Cases can end in, 3 different ways. If they go out and they see that it's a pile on the street, they can give a notice of violation, 24-hour notice of violation to correct the pile. And that can be from people not adhering to the seasonal leaf season, from November to January. They're putting out late or putting out early, so a notice of violation will be able to self-correct there. Also, if there's enough evidence, another situation is, it can lead to a citation. If there's enough evidence there that it can lead to a citation is issued. The third instance is there's not enough information to prosecute, so it's just manifested and picked up. So our enforcement results, we had over 500 cases investigated last year. 2% ended in citations, 1% is still open. The unfounded is 34%. When we say unfounded, that means we're unable to go out there and identify a pile. It could have been the pile was already collected, or some piles, like I said, were reported multiple times. Early out is kind of a symptom of our household junk program. They're supposed to put them out 24 hours prior, but a lot of our customers will use the weekends to put out their material for their household junk program, and their service day is later that week. 21% in a notice of violation, and 34% end in lack of evidence. Just not enough evidence remaining to go proceed forward with a citation. Evidence, citation, and rewards. 34% of the cases end in a lack of evidence, and that's because, lack of evidence cases have witnesses who decline to sign a statement. There's still a fear of reprisal in our challenged neighborhoods and the areas that are impacted by illegal dumping. Cases must end in a conviction to be reward eligible. 4 rewards issued in 2018. Deterrents we use. We have cameras. Last year we had 3 cameras. This year we just purchased 4 new illegal dumping surveillance cameras, and we're about to purchase 5 more. So we actually tripled our camera supply from 3 to 12, and we should have about 12 cameras by midsummer. We patrol illegal dumping hotspots, collaborate with neighborhood associations and PBEDs, and also we post signage out there. Our household junk program continues to grow year over year. Household junk is a way for our customers to get rid of bulky items and that can't be collected in a regular residential collection. And also the dump coupon has seen some slight upticks in there. Outreach campaign for our illegal dumping. We use our truck signs. Our truck signs flipped right after the leaf season to kind of promote our illegal dumping campaign. We have posters available that we use at our outreach events. We also can hang them in problematic areas. Billboards. Our campaigns for our billboards start April 15th, next week, and it runs to June 28th. The location of those billboards will be Highway 99 at Calvine, Business 80 at Exposition, I-5 at I Street, Business 80 at Fulton, Highway 99 at Mack, Highway 50 at Howell, I-5 at Richards, and I-80 at Northgate. And those billboards will have city, county, and SWA badging on there. Again, we use household junks to encourage people to dispose of our bulky waste legally, and also we offer appliance e-waste pickup too.
Oh,
Yes.
Board Member Frost.
Are you really paying $500 to $1,000 reward?
Yes, ma'am. If we have evidence that lead to a citation, we offer $500 reward.
So it's like a photo of them dumping it and you can see their driver's license or something like that. Is that what kind of evidence?
Well, we have had instances where we have customers or constituents that have had home surveillance, and we were able to use that home surveillance video to lead to a citation, and they were reward eligible. So in those type of situations there.
And on your cameras, do you retain the video footage from your cameras? You said you were tripled the number of cameras that you have, and
We have
is
enough.
that a records keeping
It's
issue?
not held indefinitely. We review our footage daily. We have the ability to retain about 30 days worth of video footage there. If there is actionable video on record, we can download that to like a thumb drive. But after the 30 days, it starts to loop over.
Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Supervisor Frost.
So in summary, we had over 12,000 reports of illegal dumping. We collected over 4,000 tons of illegal dumping, over 500 cases investigated, issued 9 citations, 4 rewards, purchased 4 new cameras. We added an additional code officer. We increased services with the Sacramento Regional Conservation Corps from 2 to 4 days per month, and our budget for illegal dumping is about $900K. That's all I have. Do I have any questions?
Yeah, we have a question here for Councilmember Carr.
Yes, sir.
Of the citations that were issued, were they to haulers, or who received those citations?
I don't know the specific. I don't think they were. Darren, you know the specific?
We don't track by hauler, so it was just issued to individuals that we were able to identify as being illegal dumpers. Some were landscapers, others were doing construction on side jobs, and others were just cleaning out their yards.
Yeah. If you back up 2 slides, one slide, I want to ask you a question about it. One more. On the example that you have there with the 500 to 1,000, there's a whole bunch of household furniture. I see this all the time. What's going on here? Is this the people who live there aren't taking their couch out and putting it on the street? This looks like a whole house full of furniture. Is this a hauler who picked up stuff and decided not to take it to the dump, even though he could get a coupon to take it to the dump?
Are you referring to the picture?
Yes.
It could be anything, sir. Really, we see a lot of times that someone is cleaning out a house, or they have renters. They could have evicted them, and then it's just dump it all on the street. So it could be a number of different situations. We do have problems with illegal haulers who will haul anything for whatever, $50, and then just take it around the corner and dump it on the street. So it could be a number of situations that these are coming from.
I've used the hauler once, and I was always concerned whether or not he actually took the stuff to the dump, or if he took it to somebody's neighborhood and dumped it out. And is there a way to tell, if you are a consumer, if the hauler is actually...
Well, if they're charging you less than the disposal fee, it's probably kind of a red
Say
flag.
it again?
If the charge to haul it away is less than the disposal fee, it's probably kind of a red flag there. If they don't have like a business license, it's a red flag. So if it's not a reputable hauler, I wouldn't deal with them, or I would advise customers not to deal with them, because they're probably not disposing of the material legally.
Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Carr. Thank you, Rebecca, at your summary here.
I think it finished.
Any other questions from board members? No. I'd like to, thank you, Mr. Counsel. It's always good to get counsel from Mr. Counsel. And I appreciate all the work that your department has done over in the Avondale, Glen Elder community. We had a very successful event with the Solid Waste Authority and also our
solid waste department, and educating the public about the free service that they have too, so that they don't dump in their own neighborhoods. And went by there a couple weeks ago, and I was just shocked how different it looked and how welcoming it looked. So I do want to thank you for improving the quality of life in that community, right next to a community center. And I also wanted to congratulate, Darren from the city of Sacramento for one of our recipients of over 25 years of service with the city of Sacramento, and particularly everywhere from parks to solid waste. So if we can give him a big round of applause. He got the watch from the city. With that, if there's no more questions, we'll go ahead and go to the county.
Yes. While the county person's coming up, just as a clarifying point, the normal pickup at one of the county facilities for disposal would be somewhere in the $20, $25 range. So if you're only paying $30 for the material to go away, chances are they're not taking it and paying the $25 to get rid of it.
Good to know.
Just to give you a benchmark in pricing.
Good to know.
Good to know. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Rosa Orellana. I'm a supervising code enforcement officer with the County of Sacramento's Code Enforcement. One more thing on that too, when I go to educate customers, usually I say ask for a receipt back and then complete the transaction then. Sometimes it's good to pay half up front, take my stuff to the dump, come back with your receipt, and I have your other half. So the customer can feel comfortable that it went to the right place.
Good idea.
Yeah. So I'll be talking about some of the things that the county has accomplished in 2018 and some of our goals for 2019. So a little bit about our program. We are the illegal dumping team with code enforcement, which is within the Office of Development and Code Services here in the county. We are tasked with investigating, enforcement, and prevention of illegal dumping on public and private property. And we also enforce the Solid Waste Authority regulations throughout the unincorporated Sacramento County. We provide those services through contracts with the Department of Waste Management and Recycling and with the Solid Waste Authority. The team is currently comprised of 1 administrative assistant, 3 field officers, 1 senior officer, and 1 supervising officer, and other members of our department participate as necessary. A little bit about what we do. We enforce in 2 general categories. The first is we investigate instances of illegal dumping throughout the county and issue criminal citations to violators. So they go down to Kara Miller, just as you would if you get stopped for a stop sign violation or speeding or something like that. So the burden of proof is pretty high. It's beyond a reasonable doubt, just like any other criminal case. The second category is we enforce SWA rules and regulations and issue administrative fines to property owners who are in violation of SWA regulations. For both categories of activity, we have a response to complaints avenue and a proactive avenue. The majority of our SWA efforts are proactive. We don't get very many SWA-related complaints. Some of our efforts in the multifamily and commercial areas include ensuring that dumpsters are labeled with franchise logo, that they are labeled with the correct business address, that they have lids, that they don't have graffiti, and that they are not overflowing. Something like you see here in these photos is not uncommon. These types of violations impact our communities by creating unfair business advantage and creating nuisances and blight. So some of the things we've accomplished this year. So we have the 3 officers that are in the field full-time and the senior officer and the supervising officer who assist. Our field officers conduct inspections and investigations. They keep records on all our investigations on a case management system and issue the necessary violations. Our administrative staff assist in record keeping, mailing out notices, and locating additional addresses when we need to locate a violator. Both components of our team are really important as we help each other out. Over the last few years, our team has expanded from 1 officer when I took over just a few years ago to now the 3 staff plus the senior and the supervisor. The funding provided by SWA has allowed us to focus specifically on the issues that affect SWA customers and the SWA franchisees. Before, there was not much of an avenue that people could take if they saw SWA violations, so we are assisting in that. As our need for this type of enforcement work increases and our duties expand, we are looking into potentially requesting one additional officer to continue the SWA work of doing the proactive dumpster inspections and also take on the litter remover group. So in the photos, you see a before and after of the work we did down on 65th with the litter remover group. And this would provide a less fragmented approach to our customers where sometimes waste is unreachable because it's behind bollards or in a tight alley that a truck can't get into, so it needs to be manually pulled out. So should we go that route, that would be something that we would assist with. Software and statistical reporting. So as our team has expanded, we've seen the need to have a single place where we can store all our information regarding contacts with suspects, information that witnesses have provided to us. So as of August 2018, so just a few months, we've started using a case management system called Acela, which our housing and rental housing and zoning teams already use to input all information into. Prior to August of 2018, since there was just the one officer, we were all hand notes, so if a paper got lost, it was lost forever. Now it's all digital, and some of the things that we can do with it is like the report you see before you. We can set parameters, and this case management system, Acela, spits out reports, so it helps us with reporting our accomplishments and also keeping track of some of the information pertaining to specific cases. So some of the information included in the report are like the address, the officer who inspected it, was there a resolution, notes by contact, if there are any fees, what dates they were inspected, and all that.
Ms. Orellana, we have Board Supervisor Notola here with a question.
Yep. Hi, Rosa. I'm curious, so since August of 18, now what, 8 months, have you developed a heat map? Would be similar to what the city shows, or has somebody developed that? Because again, I think when you're looking for enforcement activity, obviously proactive for SWA, reactive in a lot of cases to complaints.
Yeah.
Also, with some of the signage that over time was there on the reward side of it that has now disappeared. I think I made this comment at one of our board meetings here some weeks back, so that the general public knows. I mean, one time, 10 years ago, we went out and put the signs up. There's a few of those that remain. So I guess I'm curious, but have you, with all your information gathering, do you have a map that you can show us that's similar?
Thank you. Yeah, so on the county side, 311 is the one who takes all of the complaints that come in regarding illegal dumping. So they are in the process of switching to a new system that will be able to produce that, but currently I have not seen one. So
outside of a manual, or not digitized, but going in and looking at addresses, we wouldn't know exactly. I see Doug's raising his hand, so Doug.
The Department of Waste Management and Recycling does have a system that can produce a heat map for you on illegal dumping in the county.
Yeah, I just think it's important to know where you're traveling to, the cases. Again, I mean, and again, obviously tonnage, and I can, I'll offer some positive comments in a moment about, I think certainly responsiveness, waste management, obviously code enforcement, even with the litter removal crews in more recent months. I mean, all of that's having some net effect. But I think just knowing from a visual standpoint that somebody go to a map and say, wow, either it is or it isn't, and if there's, and I think it helps with enforcement, particularly when you're doing some proactive, if you know those are spots that, waste management is going to 3 times a week based upon 311 calls or calls from supervisors' offices or other code activities. I think it just, that helps inform folks. It's only one piece of information, but obviously if you're entering everything else, you can bring that up, so.
We can provide that later. Our map would be similar to the cities from the standpoint that there would be solid areas that are really concentrated.
Right. Okay.
We have a question from Board Member Frost.
I was looking at your statistics, and I wanted to ask you on the criminal citations, what is there a fine?
There is.
What is the punishment?
Typically, they're about $1,000 and some community service hours. Because these go to a judge, they are outside of our hands, so they could go from the minimum to the maximum. Because they understand that the standard of proof, once we get to court, I mean, it's pretty obvious that we have the right person, that they committed the crime. Judges tend to go to the high end and issue the full $1,000 on a first offense, and it can go up to $3,000 on subsequent offenses.
Do they pay?
It's hard for me to know because the money goes back to the courts. It doesn't come back to the county. It goes to the state, just as if you would a speeding citation. But we do get resolution.
And on that citation, does that apply to the dumpster compliance also?
No. For dumpster compliance, we issue administrative fines, so they don't have to go to criminal court. There's nothing on an individual's record. This is more towards the property.
And I remember when I was a business owner, people would drive up and dump things in our dumpster.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it was hard to control that. The next day you'd come to work and there'd be a couch in
Yep.
your dumpster.
So we
I'm
don't
sure-
jump directly to fines. We do understand that that happens, so we offer suggestions and do walk the property with businesses, and depending on where it is, and, you know, we understand that too. There are some instances where we'll just monitor a property, and if like the one couch, I come back next week is gone, then I understand that you're doing as a business owner what you need to do, and you shouldn't be fined for that. So we won't jump directly to fines.
And so the criminal citation is for someone who's dumping it on the street. Is that a misdemeanor?
It's an infraction.
Infraction, which is lower than a misdemeanor.
Correct.
So for an infraction, you can get fined $1,000 to $3,000, but you can walk into any drugstore and steal up to $950, and it's a misdemeanor, and you can walk away and with no problem.
I don't handle the theft. That's more of a law enforcement question.
Sorry,
but
that was my sarcasm. It wasn't fair to you. I'm done. Thank you.
Well,
That
thank
was
you,
sorry.
Board
That
Member.
was rude, but it's frustrating because it's
I
like
understand.
none of it makes sense.
Yeah, if anyone wants to jump into criminal justice reform, feel free to do so. We can continue on with your report.
Thank you. Just to come back to Supervisor Natoli, to clarify, the information that is in this report and in our case management system, Acela, is only what code enforcement is doing. So similar to the city, if there is no license plate or evidence that we believe will lead to a citation, we have no involvement, and we'll let that continue on the system. So the Department of Waste Management and Recycling can go pick it up and dispose of it. If we do see in the initial complaint that comes in that there's some evidence, like a customer reported saw such and such pickup truck with this license plate, then we'll take an investigative role and go out to investigate, and that's what this report shows, just our code enforcement activity, not overall illegal dumping in the entire county.
So this doesn't show the handoff to solid waste? I mean, you couldn't tell from this report, did you actually took the call and handed it over? It disappears off of this chart, you're saying?
No, it doesn't disappear.
Okay.
I'm just saying this is not inclusive of all dumping in the entire county. This is just what code enforcement is doing about it.
Well, 311 makes those referrals.
Yes.
I mean, some will come directly to code enforcement, some will come directly to solid waste or DOT, and a lot come to 311.
So let me help clarify. So the code enforcement officers for the county actually have offices at the two collection yards that deal with it. So there's coordination there.
Okay.
If one of the drivers gets out there and they see that there's some material that they think they could identify, that's when they're contacting their respective code enforcement officer who will respond.
Okay.
Ultimately, the department will pick up the material, but we work real closely with code before we're just picking it up.
And does SWA reimburse solid waste? Is that part of the overall program? We fund the code enforcement officers through the franchise? No, so that comes through our own
Yes.
revenues? Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Let's please continue
Thank
with your
you.
report.
One last piece in software and statistical reporting. We are working with 311 to have Acela and 311 communicate back and forth so we can provide a better customer service experience, so that when customers call 311, Acela will backfeed so they know what we're doing about the case and we know what they're doing about the case. Currently, 311 operates independently from Acela, so we're working to connect those so we can better serve our customers. Some of our outreach efforts, code enforcement hosts up to 4 annual large-scale cleanup efforts in different areas of the county. As you know, we just had one in Orangeville this past Saturday. We collect usually, 30 to 60 tons depending on where we are. So our process, normally we select an area based on what we believe is an area that needs our attention. We select boundaries, and then we fly our door to door to educate residents about how they can get rid of their bulky items in a proper way. So on the day of the event, we set up at 2 different locations. We roll out a couple 40-yard bins, and we have people come through and dispose of their items, and we source separate it, and we collect it there. These events have an impact on illegal dumping, both positive and sometimes not so positive. We have seen in the past where, because we have a appointment-based for these Saturday cleanups too, sometimes we see other residents notice that their neighbor has a pile out and they put a pile out. So it's an education opportunity for us, and we also collect a lot of garbage that then doesn't end up on the street, and mostly we see the bulky items that don't fit in people's trash cans. So we host about 4 of those a year, and we normally service 2,000 to 3,000 people a year. So we're reaching about 10,000 people a year that we flyer door to door to educate about illegal dumping and trash in general. And then for our website in 2018, we partnered with our Media and Communications Office to redesign our website. So before it was really large, long text. So we condensed that and got rid of large blocks to make it easier to read. And we made words linkable so people can click directly on what they're looking for and get to the page that they need. We found from running some analytics that the most visited page was people trying to report illegal dumping and people trying to find places where they could take it to. So that's something we did this year. Our surveillance tools, prior to 2018, we had solar-powered still shot cameras. The advantages of those was that because they were solar powered, we didn't have to find a power source, and we could put them up virtually anywhere that needed our attention. Some of the downfalls of those cameras was that they were still shot, and that we had to drive out to the location to download the footage through Wi-Fi on a specially equipped laptop. The download per camera took about 1 hour, and we had 10 cameras. So in a typical week, we dedicated about 10 officer hours to download the footage, because if we didn't download it, it didn't free up space on the hardware on the actual camera. In 2018, we purchased 4 live feed cameras that are on your right. So those are similar to what the city has. The advantages of those is that we can remotely monitor them, and they hold up to 30 days data. It starts re-recording over itself, but we do have the ability to extract the portions that we need should we find something in there that we need. Some of the limitations on those cameras that they need a 24-hour power source, and we see that some of our mostly affected areas regarding illegal dumping don't have light poles. So we don't have anywhere to affix them to, so the cameras there are ineffective. But we do have them as a tool, and we do deploy them throughout the county. Some of our statistics for the year. So the county received 7,389 311 requests regarding illegal dumping specifically. Code enforcement investigated 694 of those 311 requests, and we issued 51 criminal citations to violators. And staff hours.
How many convictions did you get?
I can get that information for you. I didn't bring that with me.
Thanks.
In terms of staff hours, the illegal dumping team exclusively in the SWA area dedicated 2,607 hours. In the non-SWA areas, we dedicated 2,885 hours. And the Department of Waste Management Recycling dedicated 4,449 hours. So in total, that's 9,941 staff hours dedicated to combating illegal dumping. The only part that came from the SWA budget was the 2,000 and something hours that were dedicated to the SWA officer, but this just kind of shows the overall problem that we have with illegal dumping. In terms of tonnage, the Department of Waste Management and Recycling collected 1,303.7 tons of illegally dumped material, and that is excluding homeless trash. Homeless trash alone was 345 tons for the year. And then for rewards, we issued 8 rewards. Unlike the city, we don't have a sliding scale, so if someone is eligible for a reward, they get automatically the $1,000 reward. And to be eligible, they are not required to be convicted. They are just required to participate in the investigation that led to the citation, because we don't have control on what a judge will decide for a conviction or not. So if a resident submits a tip with enough information that leads us to a citation and they cooperate with the investigation, which could include coming to court to testify, they are eligible for the reward. In terms of dumpster compliance, code enforcement inspected approximately 1,000 commercial, multifamily, and industrial properties to ensure dumpster compliance. We found 104 dumpsters which were overflowing, 54 which had graffiti, 22 which were not labeled properly, 17 which were missing a lock, 14 that had junk accumulated around them, and 9 which were missing a lid. In 2019, we are on track to exceed that 1,000 property compliance inspection per year. We're going to be close to about doubling it. But like the city mentioned, we do see a good compliance rate, so 100 out of 1,000 is about what we found. So I'm available to answer any additional questions.
I see no board members with questions or comments. I want to thank you for your time, and I do want to thank all of our staff for focusing on the need for quality of life improvements. Thank you, Ms. Orellano.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. That's the end of our discussion items. We're on our last item of the agenda, comments from the public. Do we have anyone signed up to speak?
No, sir.
Since no one signed up to speak, Mr. Board Member Natoli.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up, I think board members are aware, but there's going to be an item on our Board of Supervisors agenda April 23rd. It relates to SWA. And again, the staff report is not available, as I understand it. Doug, I don't want to draw you into the conversation. It's not on the agenda today, but where coming from staff is going to be an analysis of participation in SWA. And again, I know obviously with our city council colleagues here, this has been a partnership for many, many years. I just wanted to alert folks that maybe in the audience that item is going to be on the agenda for consideration by the Board of Supervisors. And
that'll be on the Board of Supervisors agenda.
Right.
For those who are watching and listening.
Right. Okay. Great. Thanks.
Thank you, Board Natoli. I want to thank everyone for their time today, and we're going to adjourn at 4:07.
Mm-hmm.